Hi, and welcome to the BookishStitcher podcast. My name is Jeanette. You can find me on Ravelry, Goodreads, Periscope, and Instagram as BookishStitcher, all one word. I hope you've had a wonderful week since I last podcasted. It's been a couple days, I think, since the last episode came up because the last one came up late because I was in Seattle, so sorry about that. I hope you guys liked the pictures at the end with the song. I put in I don't know if you know the song that I had at the end of last week's episode, but it's one of my favorite Simon and Garfunkel songs, America, and I've had it in my head all week, and I thought it was a perfect song for the pictures of a trip to Seattle. So I have some finished objects to show you guys this week. What I'm kind of going to do is, since I went to Stitches, Texas this weekend, I'm kind of going to go in order of talking about that, kind of like I did for the SSK knitting retreat. Let me get a sip of my coffee. Do you see this? I got this at the Seattle Aquarium, the Otter Strike Back. This, I had to get a mug. It was a lot of fun. There's just some coffee in it. So I went to Stitches, Texas. And before I went to Stitches, I finished my son's birthday hat. And this is out of some hands, and it's a lot more orange than it's showing. But this is out of some hand spun from Phoenix Fire in the Touch the Butt color from Highland Handmaids. And I kind of modified the Tin Can Knits hipster hat. I didn't do the decreases the same as the pattern, and it's not going to be turned inside out, so it's started out as the hipster hat, and then it just kind of went into a normal hat. So I'll have to knit the hipster hat sometime later and actually follow the pattern. And then, so I went to Stitches. I drove down Friday afternoon and got there around dinner time, a little before dinner time, and it wasn't enough. It was shortly after 5 o'clock, and it wasn't enough time to actually, because the market closed at 6 p.m. I didn't want to pay for a full day for half an hour in the market, so I texted some friends that were going to be there and that I was going to hang out and spend some time with the weekend. And they're from Houston. It was Summer, who does the Kitchen Stitches audio podcast, and Katie, who is Katie B, I believe, on Ravelry. And I texted them and said, hey, let's go out for dinner. And we went to some Indian food. And Heidi, who does Undead Yarn, and her husband Anthony came with us. And on Friday, where we were out, I worked on my mom's socks, and I actually finished these on Saturday. But some socks for my mom for Christmas. They're out of some opal, red. I think it's opal, and they're a little bit bigger than the sock block. They're a lot bigger than the sock blockers because I have small sock blockers because I wear the size 7 shoe, and my mom wears a size 11. But her Christmas socks are done. It's half of her Christmas present. She'll just have one more thing. I'm planning to make her a cowl. But those were my 2 finished objects this week. And then we hung out. We went to dinner, came back, and knit in the room in Katie and Summer's room. And I worked on the socks. And then I went back to my room. And since I am awful at sleeping in hotels, I don't know if anybody else has that, but I'm awful at sleeping in hotels. So I pulled out, and this is in my Casey's Pockets to Go bag, and I got to see her at the festival, and we took a picture on Instagram, and she had beautiful bags in her booth, so I hope she did really well. And her name is Kim, and she's a local San Antonio person. But I worked on this at night, and this is my Susan Ashcroft shawl. It's the Nature's Lace, and it's out of some Vice yarns. And if you can see, this blue and then that purple color, pinky purple, the purple's the last color, and then I'm done. So I only have, I think, 5 rows and then bind off left. I'm going to go till I use up all the yarn. But according to my magical scale, which tells me how many rows I can do for when I weigh the ball, I have, but I don't want to lose it off the needle on camera. This is the shawl, and it's gorgeous. Love the colors. This down here is a lot more golden than it's showing up. That's gray and blue, and then transitions to like a hunter green, and then a gold, and then a gray, and then a bright, bright spring green, and now it's in this really pretty aqua blue. I guess it's more like a, I don't know, it's a deep aqua, deep teal. The camera's not showing it up 100%, but it's really pretty. And I don't know if I'm going to keep this for myself or if I might give it to my son's school as having a fall gala and an auction, and I might donate it to that. I need to contact the designer and see if that's okay with her if we do donations to raise money for schools. I worked on that at night. Another thing that I worked on at nighttime was, it's in my You So and So bag, and this is my daughter's last winter thing. It's the Little Winifred by Sarah Rochetti, I believe. And this is being knit out of some Malabrigo in the Lavender colorway. And I didn't get a lot done on this week, but a little bit more. You can kind of really see the cable now. Yeah, here's the cable coming down. And I think I have enough yarn to make it more of a dress than a tunic, which will be great because then she can wear it for several years. And hopefully that'll be done this week, because when I actually sit down and work on it, it goes really fast. It's just that I was working on other things like my mom's socks. And so Saturday morning, woke up and went and had Starbucks, because you have to have your coffee. I have to have my coffee. I'm a pumpkin spice latte girl. Just put it out there. Now you know. But I love fall and pumpkin and all that kind of stuff. I'm a sucker for it. If you put fall on it, I will probably buy it. But then after we had Starbucks, we went to the market. And so I have a lot of purchase. Well, it's not a lot. I don't know. I put on Instagram, the three of us, Summer and Katie and I, took a picture of all our purchases on a giant bed, or a hotel bed. This is not giant. It's probably a queen size or something. But the picture, all the things we bought filled up the whole bed, but most of that was not mine. Mine was actually the smallest amount. But so I went and did shopping on Saturday at the market, got there, got in, and went around to some different booths, got prized for the group. And one of the booths I went to was to Vintage Rose and Suburban Stitcher. They were sharing a booth. And I actually have my next work in project in my Suburban Stitcher bag. And I got this at DFW. And my next project is the Newborn Vertebrae. I cast this on after, or shortly after I think around the time I finished my mom's socks, I started working. This is just going to be a little cardigan for a baby, and it's going to go so fast. It's really cute. This is the yarn. It's some Knit Picks, and it is in the Sweetheart colorway. There's some stash that I had, and I really love Felici for baby knits because it's extremely soft. The striping looks really cute on baby knits because they're smaller and the stripes kind of hold out, as you can see right there. And so this is cool because I got to spend quite a while talking to Diane, who is Suburban Stitcher, and Diane actually led me to a new yarn that I'd never heard of. She said that she saw the yarn and that it reminded her of my colors, and she thought I would like it, so I went over there and I have some of that. And that was cool because that booth was actually having a flash sale, and I've never been at a festival and had flash sales, so there were lots of cool things going on like that, and I was able to get more yarn than I thought I would for a lot cheaper. But I forgot to say, when I met up with Summer on Friday, Summer and Katie, Summer gave me some hand spun. So pretty. Thank you again, Summer. It's purples and greens, which I love. And this is a combo spin, 2 bats from Brace and Stitchery, Witch's Brew, BFL, Polworth, Angelina, and Rockin' Rainbow, Superwash Merino, and Tussa Silk, 128 yards, 10 to 11 wraps per inch. So, yes, it's like a worsted. It's really pretty. Summer does really great spinning. And so I went and I talked with Diane, and I actually talked with Vanessa of Vintage Rose and found out that she and I both share a love of Jensen Ackles, who plays Dean Winchester in Supernatural. And we were looking at pictures and stuff like that, so that was fun, kind of getting to hang out and talk with them. And from the Vintage Rose booth, I got this really pretty necklace. It has like a stitch pattern and then little yarn thing. And I knew I wanted one of her necklaces because I had gotten one for my friend Abby for Christmas, and I just really liked them. I think last year I got one. I got her a Doctor Who one. And then the other thing I got at Vintage Rose for myself was these earrings. I don't ever really wear earrings, but I would like to start. I have, maybe my holes have closed up, but they're so winter fantastic. Even though we don't really ever get winter in San Antonio to where I need to wear mittens, but I love them, and I have to wait another month or two before I can probably wear those. And then, I don't remember exactly what booth order I went in, so this will probably be random and sporadic, but let's just dive. Oh, and I'm going to do something different than I normally do. I normally show one or two things and then space it out. Normally what I would do is I would show 2 things a week till Rhinebeck, which is in third weekend in October. But I just want to show it all this time and get it all up into my rack, because I keep track of every single yarn I have. You can go to my Ravelry stash and you can see every single yarn I have, because that's what I like to do it. Normally I wait till I've shown it on the podcast and then do it as my Ravelry stash, but I'm just going to do it all now so I can upload it all into my Ravelry stash now. So let me show you the mini skeins I got. I got from Madeline Tosh Crafts. It's not going to really show, but it's white with speckles of brown and gray. And it's just a unicorn tail modern fairy. It's really good price for a little mini skein. And then the other mini skeins I got were from Jinx Yarns. It's a mini set that she did based on different Hayao Miyazaki Studio Ghibli movies. And there's Kiki's, which is Kiki's Delivery Service. There's Ponyo, Howl's Moving Castle, Totoro, lots of different ones. And there's just a set. And there were 2 different color sets, and I really liked these darker kind of autumnal ones. That's all the mini skeins that I got. And then I believe this is called Miss Pearl. I'm gonna get that wrong. I don't know if she has an Etsy shop either, sorry guys. But she had stitch markers, which was what I originally thought I was gonna get from her booth, but then I decided to get something. These were a lot cheaper than the stitch markers, and they were adorable. I should have gotten more to put in every project bag, but she had little tins, and these are just a couple dollars, and you can put all your notions in them and put one in each different project bag, and I thought this was a beautiful print. I really wish I had gotten more, because she had a deal too where if you got 5 you got for like $1 off each one, and they were a really amazing price. But in here I have stitch markers. There was a stitch marker swap at Stitches, and Mickey, who is a local friend, was kind enough to give me some stitch markers that I could use at the swap. I got this one from Melissa. Hi Melissa, who is Melrog, and her son, I believe, or her daughter, made these. This is cute. My son loves these. You just put them together and you iron them, and it can make patterns. And then I can't remember whose is whose, but I know Carrie, who is Knitfomaniac, maybe that's hers, and Tammy was there. Maybe that was I'm not going to get all this right. But this is great because my puppy dog snips fit in this tin, and everything fits in there, and you just store it in your project bag. I'm sure there are other places that make tins like this, but so I got that from. And then what else? Okay, so let's go to the yarn that Diana, Suburban Stitcher, told me I should go check out because the colors reminded her of things that I liked. And this is Twisted Owl. There you go. Twisted Owl Fiber Studios. And this beauty. Now if you can see, purples, and this is a caramel color. And it kind of is like a beach, but with some purple thrown in. It's kind of light sandy colors and very pretty. And it's a DK, Twisted Owl DK, 100% superwash merino, 231 yards in the bright city lights. And it looks like her website is just, it's not on Etsy, it's twistedowlfiberstudio.com. I think this will make a wonderful hat. It's very squishy. I think it will look okay color-wise for me. So that was what I got there. And then, I don't remember what order any of this stuff came in. Oh, I think this was next. This was my splurge. Everything else I got either I had planned for or it was a good deal. Like this one, she was having a flash sale in her booth and everything was super cheap. This one, I wanted to see if anybody had any hedgehog fibers because I've never knit with it. I've heard wonderful things about it. And I thought, oh, Stephen B will be there. Maybe he will have hedgehog fibers. But before I even got to the Stephen B booth to check, there was Hill Country Weavers, which is in Austin. It was super close to me. And I didn't realize they carried hedgehog fibers, so I bought from them. And I have some hedgehog fibers, my very first skein. I never have any of the cool yarn or the big yarns right as soon as they're really popular, so it feels weird to have this. I normally get them 3 or 4 years after, but I'm excited. Sock yarn hedgehog fibers, and this is in the birthday cake, and it is a 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon, so I probably won't use it for socks just because the nylon content's a little lower than I normally would, but I think it will be a gorgeous hitchhiker or some kind of other shawl. This was my splurge. I normally like my yarn a bit cheaper than this, and it wasn't a lot, but it wasn't like a cashmere yarn or something like that, but my other yarns were cheaper. And then I went to my friend Heidi's booth, and I was very glad since I didn't go on Friday. The things that I knew I wanted from her booth, I was afraid they might be sold out, but they weren't. I think what went really quickly on Friday, she said, were her sock blanks. So I was glad these were still there. And this, some undead yarn, and it is the Monster High color in the sport weight. So it's going to make some wonderful sport weight socks. It's a 75-25 superwash merino nylon, and this, what it does when it knits up is you have a gray and then you have a pink variegated, which is really fun. So that was that one. And then the other one, Heidi knit with, well, both of these Heidi knit with the SSK. It was kind of like an enabling where you see a person knitting with it and you like it, but then the more you see it, the more you have to have it. That was this one. When I saw her knitting this up, I knew I had to have this. And then this next one, when I felt it knit up, I had to have it. It's one of the softest yarns I've ever touched. And this undead yarn, and it's in the Dino colorway, and it is a 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk, and 10% cashmere. This is one that I had planned for. I knew I wanted this one. And it's gorgeous. It's a very light lavender or lilac color, and it's going to make an amazing shawl. I can't even describe to you how it's just so soft. That alpaca, the baby alpaca, is wonderful. And this is, I believe, a relatively new base for her. It's a luxury base, and it's amazing. Wish you could squish it. But you can't. Someday, maybe in the far, far future, there will be squish-o-vision or smell-o-vision television. And then I went to Western Sky Knits, which I actually wasn't going to get anything from here, but then I looked at the different prices of the yarn and I realized that this one base was actually a lot cheaper than I thought it was. So I got 2 skeins from Western Sky Knits, and the one, okay, so this is just, it's so fall. I don't know. Do you see the sparkle? You can see the sparkle. Look at that. Okay, I'm just here. But it's so, so gorgeous. And this is in the Bella colorway. It's the Twinkle sock. It was a great price, just a great price for this. And it is 438 yards, 75, 20, and then 5 superwash merino, nylon, and stellina. And the sparkle. That's entertaining to me for some reason. But it's browns and greens. There's a tiny bit of blue in there. These beautiful red colors, which remind me of like apples. And it's just very fall. And then the next one I couldn't pass up. And it was actually, she said, the biggest seller of the show. And it is Fishbowl. Can you see the sparkle? Oh, you can see the sparkle now, too. Look at that. Okay. Gotta stop doing it. This is Western Sky Knits. It's the exact same base as the other one. Has some cream, has some turquoise, has that really great orange. I love orange by itself is probably not my favorite color, but orange with purple or turquoise or teal is gorgeous. And then the last yarn thing I got, because that's quite a bit, right, was from Knitting Rose. And I actually wanted to get this at SSK when I went, but I'm pretty strict about sticking to my budget, or, you know, once I ran out of cash, or how the idea I have in my head of, okay, this is how much I want to spend. And at SSK I didn't have any more and I'd run out, but I knew that she would be coming to Stitches, so I was going to wait and get that there. But this is some Knitting Rose, and she's so sweet. I got to talk to her at SSK, like I said, and this is her sock thing. You see that? And it is Ordinary Life, which I don't know why, but I absolutely love that name, because I personally think that an ordinary life is a wonderful thing. And this is the Blossom sock yarn, small dye lots, hand dyed in Texas, and it is superwash wool and nylon, 437 yards. Just like that a lot. I love the name, Ordinary Life. That made me smile when I saw that. And that's all the yarn that I got, which is a good amount. I think 7 skeins. And that tends to be, it's weird, that tends to be about my usual. At DFW, I got about 7 skeins, but at DFW I got more things because I didn't get any project bags this time. I didn't get any fiber. I just got yarn, and I got mostly fingering weight yarn. But I love everything I got, and most of the stuff I had planned for, or it was on a flash sale, and that was great. So then, let's see, also during the festival, I got to see some of you guys, and that was wonderful. I got to see G2 Knit, I was walking down a booth. I was actually walking down the rows, and I was actually looking for the mustache booth. I'll show you guys later. We got from there. It's a prize. And she said, "Hey, I watch your podcast," and she was so sweet. And she's G2 Knit, and it was really lovely to meet you and get to talk to you for a little bit, and I hope you had a fun rest of your day shopping at the Stitches Market. And then I also got to take a picture with TW Crochet Knit 83 on Ravelry, and she was so fun. I could tell she was with a group of people, and I could tell that they were a fun group to be with. And I think she had gone to I didn't go to the pajama party or any of the party things because, as I've mentioned lots to you guys, introvert. So when most people hear the thing, if you're an extrovert and you hear pajama party, you think fun, awesome. And I think she's definitely an extrovert. I'm going to get her name wrong. It's a TW Crochet Knit 83. And she's definitely an extrovert, and I think that she was dancing at the party a lot. She was saying, I think that she danced to Ice Ice Baby. But some of the local San Antonio friends were telling me that they had an extra ticket to the pajama party. And they said, oh no, have my ticket. I said, no, I'm not going to go. For an introvert, that's like punishment. Because I would feel awkward going and dancing and running around. I mean, in a small group of my friends, I can be pretty goofy, but in a very large group of tons of people at a Stitches event, I wouldn't feel comfortable. So I got to go back to my room and hang out at night. And then I also went back and knit with Katie and Summer in their room. And that was just perfect. Small group of 3 of us talking. And sometimes we didn't even talk, which is the beauty of when your friends are also introverts. You can not talk to them. You can just hang out and knit. And so anyways, it was great to meet you guys. I got to meet Jamie. I don't remember her name. I don't think I knew her Ravelry name, but I got to meet Jamie too and her friend. And so it was great to meet you guys, and I hope your Stitches was awesome. And that is all of my enabling and all my knitting and all the Stitches news. I went with Summer and Katie and Heidi and Anthony to a Mediterranean restaurant on Saturday night and had some wonderful hummus because I'm a vegetarian, so I had hummus and spinach pasta. And then went back to their room and knit some more and took that picture of all the knitting and all the yarn on the bed. And Katie is an awesome shopper. I loved getting to go around with Katie, and I really loved getting to see all the amazing stuff she had purchased, because hers was most of the bed, but it was full of wonderfulness. She got a whole bunch of Erin Lane bags. She got some Alicia Goes Around, which I love. I actually wore a shawl, the Hawthorne shawl by Suzanne Icy, who is a local friend, that was one of her patterns that I had knit in some Alicia Goes Around in this gorgeous green color. I wore that to the Stitches event, and people were commenting on it, and I was sending them over to Alicia's booth because her yarn, her worsted weight yarn, is amazing. It's so squishy. And so where was I going with that? I don't know. So, oh yes, Katie's yarn. She got some from Alicia Goes Around, and I think 3 or 4 different colors, and gorgeous blue is my favorite. But I love it to go around with people that love to purchase lots of yarn, because I get overwhelmed if I purchase too much. But when other people are filling up multiple bags, I love seeing what all they got. I'm very good at living vicariously. But it was fun to try to take a picture. It was hard actually to get a picture of all the yarn in the frame, but it was fun to see all our purchases and talk about which ones were our favorite and which one we loved the most. And this is going to be a longer episode, I just realized. Hope it's not too long for you guys. But then went back to my room, read a little bit, knit a tiny little bit, went to bed, woke up early Sunday, did not go back to the market, just came home. My husband was texting me pictures of my kids, and I really wanted to come home and just hug them because I really miss them. After getting to spend every single day as a family in Seattle for several days, I missed them. So came home, got home, and I've been home for a few hours and went grocery shopping and all those other life necessities. And that was my Stitches weekend. I'm really glad to have gone and gotten to go hang out with some friends, and I'm really glad that I don't have any more traveling for a little while. But on to group news. I have a Ravelry group for the podcast. If you are not a member and you watch, I would love for you to come join. And right now we have our little ones cal going on, which is knit anything for a little one. If your little one's 30, it counts because they're always your little one. And there's prize for that is some self-striping sock yarn, some needles, and a bag. And that goes till the end of September. And I was actually kind of thinking, what should our next knit along be? And I was wondering, what do you guys think of hats? October to me is hat weather, and I might have 4 or 5 hats that I need to knit for Christmas. So If you guys would like to knit hats with me, please write in the episode thread if you think that would be a good knit along. And I might for that just run it for October, short one, since hats don't take long, and just do like 2 prizes of a pattern of your choice for $7 or less, something like that. But let me know if you would be up for a hat knit along. And then we have going in the group right now our Stitches Texas / 600 member group prize giveaway. And I got the prizes for you guys at Stitches Texas. And a lot of you said local things that you couldn't get, and a lot of you said mustache yarn, which is great because I got to go and talk to Stacy, and she's so sweet. And we've known each other for a little over a year now, like a year and a half, and it's always great to get to see her and talk to her. And we're talking about, because I'm going to be going to the Rhinebeck for the first time, and she went last year for her first time, so she was giving me tips about how to not become overwhelmed. So I got a skein of her yarn for you guys, and this is in the Family Reunion colorway. And this might look a little smaller than a normal skein. That's because it is. I couldn't really afford a full skein, but I could afford a half one, and this will be enough for some Roll City rollers, whatever that pattern is that a ton of people are knitting right now. It's ankle length socks. This would be enough for that. It would be enough for some fingerless mitts, and it's in all these really pretty colors. So if you like those kind of colors, then that would be. And then there's another prize, because this was a great price, and she's a local San Antonian, and you can't really get her stuff online, but it's gorgeous. Everybody in San Antonio, she's like the local dyer that everybody really loves in my knit group. And her name is Leilani, and I went into her booth and I said, and it's Heavenly Fiber, and I said, what is everybody gravitating towards when they come in the booth? What's the it yarn of the festival for you? And she said her Autumn Leaves color, which is stunning and perfect for this time of year if you're in a time of year that's having autumn right now. I know not everybody is, but you could always save it and knit it for when you next have your autumn. And it's these really beautiful. There's some olive green, some brown, some different shades of red. This actually makes me think of my friend Jen, Ironical Knitter, because she likes reds. And it's Heavenly Fiber, and this is some sock yarn, and it is in the 75-25 superwash merino nylon, 463 yards, and it could be socks or it could be a shawl. It's also very, very soft. And those are the 2 yarns that I got for the giveaway. Also in the group right now, I was thinking about the next knit along, which I told you, but I was also thinking that it might be fun to do another read along. So if you would be up for that and you have any book suggestions for another read along, please put them in this episode thread, and you can kind of like talk about what book we would like to read for a new read along. I think that's it for, oh no, it's not. It's not it for group news. I was about to forget something very important, and I have a whole bag right here of stuff not to forget that I just almost forgot. I'm special at forgetting things. Okay, while I was gone in Seattle, my Spun Fiber Co. yarn arrived. I'm in this club, and this is the Marigold and Madder 100% local merino, worsted weight 190 yards, and it's in this gorgeous, how would I describe this? A light tan and cream colors. It's really squishy and gorgeous, and she does great work. And I need to email her about, she told me she'd like to do a giveaway. I haven't emailed her about it, but I need to do that this week. I'm going to hold myself to it. This week I will email her. And then, speaking of giveaways, we have so many wonderful, generous people who watch the podcast, and I am just so thankful for you all. And it's so nice to think that somebody would think that I'm worthy to give me for a giveaway, because I don't think of myself as worthy for that. But it's really nice that you guys gave stuff to give away. So on Instagram, I follow H Cats Crafts, and she posts pictures a lot of times of, she does a lot of cross stitch, and she posts pictures of her Q-snap covers, and I think she does diaper covers too. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I ordered something from her because I wanted a Q-snap, and she sent along a giveaway and some extra goodies. So this is the Q-snap I ordered. There's her, wait, it's upside down. There's her tag. She has, I don't think it's Etsy, it's Big Cartel. This is the one I got. There's, oh, it's so cute. There's little foxes, and they're happy and in love. And see if I can find the owls. There's birds on here, but they're at the, you can kind of see. There's little birds on top of a tree. I hope you can see it. Yeah, there. So that's the one I ordered, and I think it's going to really revive my cross stitch because I have a couple languishing projects that I want to work on. I think this will be fun. I still need to order the Q-snap. But she sent along a giveaway for you guys. She's so sweet. There's her. And there is that. Hope you can see that. It is H Cats Crafts at bigcartel.com. So if you're in the market looking for a Q-snap cover or any diaper covers, definitely go check out her Big Cartel shop. And this is for an 11 by 11 Q-snap. This is great modern print, which has just geometrical design with different colors inside. And I think it's really cute. So thank you again so much for the giveaway, and I will put up the thread for this today. And then she also sent in the box bath goodies. And I don't know if she knew this, but I am a bath junkie. I love to sit in my bath and read books. So I have already used some of the things she sent, but I saved a couple to show. And these are actually from an Etsy shop, In a Lather Soap Co. So if you love bath products and pretty bath products, definitely go check it out. This is the lemon poppy. Look at that. I love how this is lemon and then this is the poppy part. It's so pretty. And look at her label. So cute. It's just so sweet that she sent along these extras. And this is not her Etsy shop. It's, I think, a friend's. And it's right there, In a Lather Soap Co. And then she also sent this coconut lime verbena sugar scrub. What's that? And it smells really good too. I'm not going to open it, but thank you so much. It was wonderful to come home from Seattle and have a box. I thought I'd have like a little envelope with this Q-snap cover. There was a box and there were so many goodies in it, and none of them melted in the Texas heat, which was, you know, the Texas heat is very formidable, so that was awesome that none of them melted. And then the last thing, we have another giveaway, and I believe, well, I've talked about it several times, and I believe she was at Stitches on today, but I didn't get to see her because I left this morning. But Ida Claire, who does the Diana Couture bag that I've raved about several times for 2-color shawls, it's amazing, and it's the Serena bag that she makes, and she's on Etsy. She has offered to do a giveaway for that bag, and she's so sweet, and she wrote to me. I just read this morning. I need to write her back. But she just said that it'll be any Serena bag in her shop. She was just going to originally have one fabric print for you guys to win. But now she said any fabric you can choose from in her shop. And that is so sweet. And I know you guys will love that bag. If you knit 2-color shawls or colorwork stuff, it's great for it. And I've shown it lots of times on the podcast. And I will put up a thread for that. So thank you so much. And I feel so blessed. You guys are so wonderful. That is all of that. Now that we're at almost 40, oh my gosh. I'm really sorry for everyone that likes that I keep my shows short, because so many people told me at Stitches that that's their favorite part of my podcast. But, oh, one last thing before the book review. Amy Loris gave me an iTunes review couple weeks ago, and I just now saw it. Thank you so much, Amy. I really appreciate the iTunes reviews. I think about 70, according to my husband, who does all the statistical stuff for the podcast, the uploading. I think about 75% of the people that watch the podcast watch through iTunes, and iTunes I pay somebody to host the feed, so it's not free. So I really appreciate the iTunes reviews because it means a lot to me that, since I'm paying for it, that people go and give the 5-star rating. So I just wanted to say thank you, Amy. It's really sweet. And Amy does the wonderful Knit Theory podcast. So the book this week. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm at 40 minutes. But last week's was only 17 minutes, so maybe if I get it done in the next 5 minutes, it's just kind of like they equal out to 30 minutes. Justifying. But I have been having trouble reading my longer books. I have a couple books that I'm reading right now, and I've been having trouble reading the longer ones. I will sit down, and I've just been kind of overwhelmed and antsy this last couple of weeks with traveling and everything going on with work and all kinds of stuff. I just haven't been able to sit down and get my attention into these longer books that I have that I've been reading. And so I just decided, you know what, let's just go with some shorter books. Let's go with something easy that you can read in 1 or 2 days and you can feel accomplished. Like I read a book and I'm not in the middle reading tons of pages. So what I like to do when I'm feeling that way is I like to read novellas, and I like to read kids' books and graphic novels, and I've been doing all that. So I'm going to review a kids' book this week. I have read others. I read a graphic novel, one of my sons, which is also a kids' book, and then I read a novella from a series that I read. They do like little spin-offs. But the book this week is by one of my absolute favorite children's authors. If you have kids, or if you're like Tanya, who is one of my friends, hi, Canadian friend, who said she likes to read kids' books just because they're fun and they're wonderful, this is it's so magical. Kate DiCamillo does great books, and it's The Magician's Elephant, and it's illustrated by Yoko Tanaka. And this is about a boy whose parents have died, and he lives with a man who's training him to be a soldier. And one day he goes to a market and he decides to use the money that he was given to buy old fish and moldy bread, because the guy that's training him up to be a soldier is very strict and regimented. So he decides to, on a whim, he sees a fortune teller's tent, and he decides to spend the money that would have bought the old fish and moldy bread on getting his fortune told. And he finds out, I'm not going to give too much away, that he has a sister that he thought was dead when his parents died, and she's alive. And the fortune teller tells him, follow the elephant. He's like, what? He lives in the middle of a city. And this is a long time ago. There's no elephants here. What are you talking about? And he finds out the very next day that a magician was performing at a magic house. And it was a magician that was kind of past his prime, and nobody really expected anything from him, and this is probably going to be his last show. And so he performs this old magic, and he has a hope in his heart to do something spectacular. That's kind of just what he hopes for when he does this magic show, just something spectacular. And something spectacular does happen, an elephant. And that's all I'm going to tell you. And then this book is just charming, it's whimsical, it's short. It has pictures that are beautifully illustrated by Yoko Tanaka, and it's just a great book. I would think it would be an amazing book to read with your kids and discuss it, and it would be really quick if you just want a fun, light, whimsical, charming read. So that is Kate DiCamillo's The Magician's Elephant. And since I'm still kind of in the mood of wanting to read very quick books, I would love it if in this week's thread for the episode you guys could post some of your favorite quick reads. Something, like a novella that's under 100 pages, or a graphic novel, or a book with pictures, anything that just took you a very short amount of time to read, because I need suggestions for that. I'm running out of books that I can read that I know of, so I would love suggestions of ones that you know and love, so that I'm not just blindly shooting in the dark and grabbing random books. So if you want to suggest your favorites in this week's thread, I would really appreciate that. I think that is everything this week. I'm really glad that I remembered the bag that I was not supposed to forget. And I hope you guys enjoyed seeing all the stash acquisitions from Stitches and the knitting. Next week I hope to have a ton of finished objects because I'm not going to be traveling a ton or any. And go to the Ravelry group and enter for all these giveaways that we have. I'm really excited. And you must be a group member for any of the giveaways. That's all for this week, guys. So I hope you have a wonderful week and that you get to do all the things you love. Okay, bye.